So I get a bunch of questions, trust me, more questions than what people can probably think. Anyways, one of them is, how do I know when to rehydrate? This is how. When you look at at the shoebox, see how much room there is in between the shoebox and the cake? That is not how it begun. It truly is not. So it's about a half inch to a quarter off the sides, and in some spots about a half an inch. Okay, so that means I need to hydrate these cakes. Now these cakes, you can tell they've not been hydrated because the plastic is still around them. So what I'll do is I'll hydrate them. I'll take them out of the plastic, hydrate them. Once this one is picked, and then I let them sit there for a few days, and then they end up like this on racks. But I will state this, another question I get. If you soak them for 12 hours and you try to take them from a shoebox to put them onto a rack, it will fall right through the rack. You might get some of it to stay, but I always try to give it about at least 24 hours at minimum. I let them sit. I dump all the fluid out of them and I let them sit in that for 24 hours to kind of, harden up a little bit. But couple days is best, like 3 days. Try that, and that'll work a little bit nicer for you. And then stick them onto a rack, and then they look like this. So hell yeah. So these ones need to get redone. Now, another question is why don't I rehydrate them after every flush? Time, I guess, would be the word I'd like to say. Hold on. I try to let them go 2 to 3 flushes in between every rehydration. Now I've had cakes go up to 9 flushes. Now that brings me to another point. Once you start getting past, like, from what I have seen, from what I do on these cakes, and I see it quite often, is first, flush number 1 and 2 are going to be quite big, but the yield will be good, but the mushrooms won't be very big. Sometimes I'm wrong, okay? But like flush, sometimes 2, and then it'll skip sometimes 2. But a lot of times flush 3 and 4 and anything past that, you're not really getting big yields, but you'll get monster mushrooms. At least that's what I found out through doing it my way. So another question I get asked frequently is the misting. Okay, misting. I mist and fan 3 times a day. 3. Okay. Now, if they're cakes and you're just putting them in there, mist the container, mist the cakes, okay? Because the mist is going to land on the cake and make it want to produce pins. Okay, so the misting of the cake is important. But if you over mist the cake and it gets water droplets on it, that will damage your mycelium, and I've seen that lead up to contamination. But so say it looks like that, to where you have actual fruit on the cake, then yes, mist the entire container, even if the humidity says 100%, because at the point that cake is at right now, and that shoebox number 5, so how they grow is the fruits are sucking the moisture out of the cake. Okay, so if you keep putting more moisture into the cake as it's trying to grow, it's going to keep growing bigger. And I spray the fruits, because if you spray the fruits when they're decent, you'll come back in about 5 or 10, and that fruit will be completely dry because it absorbs the water. So yeah, but there's some insight on what I do with them couple questions. Okay, what was the other question I kept getting? The little white crap. Okay, the little white stuff that soaks up water and all that. And I will state this again. Just because I do not do it does not mean you guys don't want to do it. Okay, I just don't like doing it. The cleanup is not worth it. Like I like to tell people, the juice ain't worth the squeeze in my eyes. You know, I'm checking these things all the time anyways, so why not just spray and fan them? Okay, I fan them. I don't need to fan them, but I fan them just to make sure that they get as much clean oxygen as possible. Yes, there is always, when you're opening these up and you're fanning them, there is always a chance of getting contamination because there's little particles everywhere in the air. You can't see them, but when you fan, it does land on there. Okay, so got to think about all that stupid stuff. Let's see what else. The other thing I just thought of, a couple questions I seen in my comments were about the lids and the holes, the AFE hole. Okay, so if you take a hole punch and you punch a hole into the lid, you can screw the lids on tight as long as that hole is there. I use microsport tape, and I put the tape over that, and I just tighten them down. And what that does is it allows the pressure to get out of the jar of corn when you steam it. And yeah, and then when it comes out, I let it dry for a few days, and I shake it up and stir it, and then I put another piece of tape over it, and that's it. There was a question about the incubation chamber. Yes, there is one hole. It is right there. A lot of times I have a fan on this fan, and it pulls air from that and all that yummy stuff. So yeah, that's all I can think of, y'all, at this moment. So, and I do have to apologize. I went through a ton of comments today. I don't know how many comments, but my stupid little thing wasn't telling me when you guys replied. So you wrote me a comment, I wrote you a comment. It wasn't saying that you had replied. So I went through that today, and hopefully I got most of them. So if you got a comment and you haven't seen me get to it yet, repost it on a different video, and I will definitely answer it. I do feel bad about that, and I do apologize. So that concludes this day. I will probably keep this and just do my week thing. I got duck season on Saturday, so I'll probably be talking about duck season and all that. So, hell yeah, y'all. Thanks for staying tuned. And my channel hit 602 tonight. So, thank you guys. You guys are making this possible. I really hope that you guys do enjoy my channel and enjoy what I do and learn with me, because I don't know everything. But the next thing we will be doing is spore prints. So, but I got to get a couple more things to do that. But I have taken some spore prints, and you guys will get to see that here soon. Anyways, thank you for joining me. Till the next one.